All right, good morning. I'm sorry it's the day after the 4th of July. I'm going to preemptively apologize for the amount of noise in the background. I have people watching videos and movies, and I have AC blasting. It's already hot here. So I'm going to try and make this quick. So, day after the 4th of July, let's say it's Wednesday. A few things I want to get done real quick. Let's first take a look at the SPY. So we kind of have a double top setup, which I was leading to in the chat room. Like, hey, keep an eye on this. Now, the angle of attack, typically when you see like a double top on a daily chart this is just simply coming up and then maybe a test here to go. The angle of attack still favors the upside here. So even though we have a little bit of a pullback today, if we just go on this acceleration that came off the middle of the Keltner channel, right, I think we're still good. So yeah, we're still pretty good here. So right now, if she can hold above, I guess 441 on the SPY, we'll be okay. And that's for today. So if you're looking at the SPY, you probably even have all the way down to 440. So 441, keep an eye. If it gets below 440, I'd hold off. See if it waits to retest this. But this is the angle of attack. That means still, even though we're pulling back today, I mean, we went outside the Keltner channel, came up to this resistance point. You just got to give it a break. The angle of attack is still very steep. Even if we're coming off this to here, to the bottom off the bounce. Where are you bringing me that from? That's, sorry. There we go. Even if we go off the bottom of the bounce, like, that's still a very strong angle attack. Actually, I'll leave that there just in case. So, looks good. Still looks bullish. I'm looking to sell more than buy, but that being said, if there's anything that really has been the laggard and the market's still staying up at these levels, we might just be looking for a lot of rotation. They're just dumping the money. A little bit of selling in some of the things that have been leading and now just bringing it into the laggards. So if you are looking to get into something, kind of the laggards probably be your best bet if this is going to be a spread the wealth continuation type of move, which might be. Healthcare in general has been beat up, but the thing about healthcare as a sector, some things are doing great, but some things are doing terrible, and they're undervalued. So I think if this was just simply consolidation, this whole entire move coming down and coming back up, we broke out that in May type idea. If this is just we're going to continue higher, they're going to look for things that are laggards, that are cheap. So that's a lot of things in healthy dividends, surprisingly. Still got, basically everything down here, actually. LH is still cheap. That's a good one. We'll take a Quest is still, well, it's in this pennant formation. Look how clean that is, huh? Yeah, it's more of a pennant than a wedge, right? Yeah. Novos, actually not, but she's been doing all right. GSK coming back down, moving sideways. Keep an eye there. Cardinals, super strong. Them, McKesson. Drug distributors, as long as your people are going to the hospital or people are going to, people are just sick in general, these companies do well. J&J, very similar. Who's very similar to that? Was it GSK? Yeah. So let's see with that. We have Pfizer, obviously still very cheap. I'm still buying up on this. This is fine. The world's going to, Pfizer falls apart. The world's coming to an end. Triple M, I haven't touched it, but I'm looking to get back in on this sucker. I know it's an industrial, but I consider it a healthcare stock for us. It has headlines for healthcare, so especially the last few years with the PPE and all that stuff. Baxter, maybe guys start considering it. I don't think the fundamental story has improved that much. But she came down, kind of getting this higher low set in. We're getting above this anchored VWAP. Back in the daily Keltner channel, we're out here. She came down. So the monthly RSI starting to strengthen up, and then the daily dropped below right here. So this is a really good setup for us. So Maybe if you want to get involved with Baxter, there's an opportunity. I might look at that one. Gilead. That's an interesting chart for. Where are you coming off? Nothing really. You might have more than one here, though. Yeah, there we go. Let's just check this. All right, that one's probably more likely. Yeah, alright, so there we go. Got this one coming down off here, though, after the failed breakout. And she's still in control. So the angle of attack is down. But if she can get above, keep an eye on that one if you want to get in on Gilead. I think it's probably overvalued. I have to go check on in the sheets in a little bit. RPRX trading below. I haven't really done much with it, but I'm going to start getting in on it for sure. WST I think is officially above, yeah. So TMO and MDT still in the buy. See, like it's unbelievable how much we have for the buy here. AbbVie's in there as well. After a strong sell-off. Another company where it's like, well, if AbbVie's not doing well, the world's coming to an end. As a company, not in terms of the stock chart. BMY, look at that, beautiful. Just wait for the buy. I think it's really close to our buy target, so or buy threshold. So if you're looking at buy BMY, keep an eye for this break of this trend line, which if it's any time probably the next week, you're really going to look for something above 66.50, because you also have all this anchored volume right here. It's going to be a rough time to get back above 70 really, but path of least resistance is still down, so you wouldn't want to have a big size. OGN's another one that's still lovely. Market still hasn't come up with a decision how to trade it, so there hasn't been a rush to get involved with this for a lot of guys, I think. So slow accumulation. So busted out, but came back down and has respected it, and now it's popped out again. So keep an eye there. I'll put it on my watch list. Let's see. Let's take bioreactors. Let's try to make this quick. Sell 3 on ISRG. Do I want to sell? Maybe. This is why I'm going to give you a little. Why you just stick to it. Came down, like, it sells off, right? It has these moments where the earnings isn't absolutely perfect, but these guys sell really ultra expensive equipment. So, you know, when you miss, you can miss, and it looks really bad if you don't have 3 or 4 sales that you were expecting. And then all of a sudden it just happens, like, you know, a few weeks later in the next quarter, right? And then it's tacked on to the next quarter, and all of a sudden you have a blowout quarter that was expected. So playing ISRG around earnings is great, because you get these ideas. It's like, oh, things are bad, things are great. And then you go from $200 on a stock that is basically on a company that's one of a kind, and it goes from 200, we can load up down here, and now we're selling at 300 something on a huge ticker. Beautiful. Beautiful. Over and over. Rinse and repeat. You want to keep doing that? Go ahead. Tell me who their best competition is. Right? This thing should only be grinding higher forever and ever right now. I mean, you look at the monthly chart, one could argue, but this right here, we loaded, now look at it. Give me a break, people. Keep an eye on this one. The fundamentals have definitely gotten suspicious, I'll say, but still a great trading utility here. So I will continue to utilize it. But I am definitely downsizing. I might have to actually, I probably have to take it out of the bioreactor and downgrade it to BioBoom. I should probably do that tonight. Figure out the strategy there. We might get another shot at MBIX soon if she breaks this. Come down here, I'll load up big. I'll take that. Align, how's this coming up? This was another great one for us. Nearly doubled. Alright, let's get to the point here. Let's do BioBoom, and then we'll talk about what I want to talk about. And why I'm still pretty... It's actually, yeah, we'll talk about BioBoom because it'll lead us into the next portion here. IMPL. I should probably start looking at this again. Super cheap. And they have a good pipeline. They have a good product. Kano. I loaded up, and then now I'm kind of just waiting for it to get... Basically, get above here. But... Yeah, I'll wait. KPTI, I'm gonna start loading up on more, especially after she broke out of this downtrend ray. Too cheap. Alt I've been really patient with. I'm still gonna be patient. I want to get down this 326 area before I really get big on it. We still have a long ways to go before they cross the finish line in terms of PIMV. So. I'm not looking to get stuck for 3 more years of waiting before, you know. See, I would let's get into the story here, which is they have a great drug, but they don't have a lot of money. They're not one of these big guys who comes in and says, "All right, I'm going to open up a clinical trial, and it's going to be, you know, we're going to basically open it and enroll it, get it fully enrolled in the next few weeks." Meanwhile, these guys can barely probably get one spot to do their drugs. Get a spot to do their trial, and take months and months and months to get fully, almost a whole year to get fully enrolled. So, they might have a superior drug, but the other companies are just going to get it to the market earlier, and, you know, that's it. First to market is, stats on that is crazy. In terms of money, and then second and third, and then if you're like after the third to market, there's really not too much of a difference. In that case, obviously, you're looking for a better drug, and that's their only hope, is to be like essentially third or fourth to the market, and then just hopefully their data really blows it out of the water, and they're able to get enough promotion to it, and hopefully get a good partner that's been waiting on the sidelines for a better drug to come in and maybe do a better job of promoting it. Okay, anything else? Anybody getting pummeled this morning? Harp. No. HRTX, another one to keep an eye on. They have good drugs. They have things that you need. It's just a very easily shorted stock. So that's the game plan. Like, everybody looks at it and it's like, well, you know, they've been shortening it for years and years and years. Nobody stepped in to make it to go the other way, so why are we fighting it? And as somebody who wants to get as dirt cheap as possible, I'm doing the same thing. I am waiting for this to be absolute dirt cheap, so I don't ever have to look at it. I can put my sell targets in and never have to worry about it ever again. Because it's not a great trading vessel. This is going to be one of the ones where you own it, you book your profits, and you just put it in a sock drawer. And until, like, you know, I guess I would say until the sentiment around the ticker changes. Got a little double bottom here. This might be a long-term setup here. You just stay away from it. Alright, we have maybe kind of a triple bottom on the RSI. This is actually technically higher, isn't it? Yeah, so we could keep an eye here. This might be it. We might be looking at something here. So this is another downtrend ray. I don't think it broke it yet, though. Look how far that's coming from. That is absolutely insane. Let's go off that one. Yeah, it's the near term. Let's see what this has got. This one might be where it's coming from here. Yeah, I'll go set up there. This is gonna be a... So this is definitely more than just tricky. See how I did there. Yeah, I might have been a... Yeah. Obviously, probably a little bit further out. Yeah, so this would probably still be here. So that little poke out last week, still under control. So that spike. Didn't get it, though. But, hey, HRTX definitely on the watch list for today and probably for the foreseeable future. IBRX. Still gonna wait. I gotta wait for... I mean... Maybe get above buy target 1. But we can see the anchored VWAP is in control here. She's just being algoed. They'll suppress it, make sure that no one's looking at it. Once the volume drops down low enough, down here, see it's getting nice and low. They're going to start accumulating, and they'll also sell against it. So they're going to try to accumulate at lower volumes, but at the same time sell against it to make it drop. So... they're buying to only sell it to drop it if they can get the volumes down low enough. Manipulate it down. It's going to cost them a little bit, but then once they get down to this level where they can get a spike in volume, they can make larger transactions. Because if you do it now, you're going to cause a spike, and then everybody's going to pile on it and jump up. You want to get it down all the way down to 150, right? And then once you start to buy up, and you might get a spike, but at least you have a shot near the 150s to the 200s rather than like the 270s to 354. I mean, if you want to get a decent chunk of shares, these guys are going to want to slowly accumulate and also sell the shares at the same time, short, bring it down. And you're asking, well, what's the point of that? Well, they're just trying to get you out, right? You were in, you think you're good in the you like the company, but they want you to sell here to help them bring it down. And then once they accumulate and they spike it, and you're like, oh, maybe something is good. And then you come in and you're going to basically take it from the 250 to 400, and they're sitting down here, and they accumulated. So you paid for it to get down, and now you paid for it to get back up. I know that's obvious to a lot of you, but sometimes it's a good reminder of like why you have to be patient. All right, SGMO. I'm gonna end it here. One more on our IGL. Yeah, she's getting close. There, yeah, she's right there. Good. Keep an eye on this one. And finally, let's go to Precision DTIL. I wrote up a whole entire piece, and then I looked at it, read it, and it's not that it was wrong, but enough of it is... I like this ticker in terms of what could be because of the technology they have. They are cell and gene editing technology, but they want to destroy this and make sure and de-risk it as much as possible. I mean, look at they have algos burning this thing under $1. So somebody really wants this thing to die as much as possible. Get the reverse split. Once they reverse split it, hopefully they'll raise some money, and then that's where, yeah, because the company's gonna want to do a reverse split. Bring it up to like $4 or $5. dilute it several times, bring it back down to the $2 area, and then that's where it might be between the financial. Yeah, they'll have enough finances, and hopefully they have enough of their pipeline into like mid development that we can see what's working and what's not. And that's where you probably get a bunch of the guys, bigger money stepping in. But you can see the volume is so atrocious. I mean, this is actually volume bars. And look how it's just being... I mean, there's nobody involved here. This is all algos just grinding it down. That means no one wants to touch it until way later on. So I like the company. I'm adding when I can. But just reminder, like they still have, like, look at it. They're so early on in this stuff that they like, oh, we got done with the research. Preclinical. They're just getting these things started. So why would we ever want to be involved with this? If any of these things do hit and they show that they work in humans, this changes how you treat the disease. And if you look at what they're going after, like the CAR T stuff, these, lymphomas, myelomas, all the, hematologic cancers, that's how we're treating CAR T. That's great. If it's better than what we're doing here, great. It'll have an opportunity. If it shows it can be used over and over, great. It's probably the better. It has potential to be a better CAR T. I'll get into that in the write-up. But we're here. There are approved drugs going after a lot of these hematological cancers. So what would be the benefit if it's better, safer, shows it could be repeat, and also does it have a potential to be used in solid tumors? Do they have technology that works in solid tumors? Because right now, it's just all blood stuff. In vivo, so in vivo gene editing, that's big, obviously, because you can just one shot, I guess, and we're over and done with. You don't have to do some crazy go in the hospital, spend multiple months in the hospital just to get work to work. Multiple, treatments. This would be very interesting. DMD, if they're better than Sarepta, just look at Sarepta's market cap. I mean, if these guys can show that they're better in sickle cell, which is CRISPR, blue, look, very early on. But if they could show that they're better, and those things have a market, which they do, these guys will, be seen as the next best thing. Especially if they can do probably these top three right here. I'm not really sure what... Alright, so amino acid. I have to look what that one is. Something to do with the liver. That's an interesting one. So it'd be interesting what they get. Oh, so this is what you want to look at right now, because I'll get to this in a second. But this actually does a great job expecting, because look, so far their CAR T has shown some decent data, right? Everything thus far has been actually good, and I'll get to their press releases. But this is where you want to look right now. Like, they have cash, right? But they're going to need more. They're going to need a lot more. Even with the partnerships, they're still going to need a lot more because, again, they're still developing what they're doing. Even if they have partners, they handle... It's going to give them money for development. They have their own stuff, too. So this is the HBV one. So these guys think they have something that can get rid of HBV. If that's freaking true, a gene editing HBV, for some people, HBV is like, most people don't clear it. I shouldn't say that. I don't want to say most, but a lot of people don't clear HBV. And they deal with it, and it destroys their liver. And very high chance of developing cancer. So if they can show that they can teach your body a way to fight it off, home run. Well, I'll get into this into the write-up, but they look like they got something going there. So that's the idea, that their CAR T, so their CAR T works, and it looks like their gene editing works. We're going to need some more data to show that it works in more people, and there's durability. That's another thing. Just because it works doesn't mean it doesn't. Yeah. How often do you have to do the thing? Because if it is one shot, and it's really part of your body, and it's really working, and your body, you can get multiple CAR Ts, or maybe you don't have to get more than one gene editing in your lifetime, great. I'll get into this stuff later, but my point in my original article was, look how many things, positive updates these guys had. CAR T, and gene editing over the last couple months, right? Preclinical data, so DMD. So look at May. All of May. May had like 3, plus we'll get to that in a second with the first Q1 update. But notice multiple positive updates starting in May. Right? This is so, look, end April. What happened? We had a spike here. I'll see if that even made if that was from anything, but nothing. No one cares. Algos. Nobody cares. It's too early for people to really, because when are you gonna be done? I don't know. Years from now, years before these guys probably pull money in, even with all the orphan drugs and fast track designations. Still gonna take a while. Yeah, they have partners. Still gonna take a while. Let's go to let's go to DTIL. I wanted to show you why I'm willing to be involved if I'm so concerned about being so far out, which is, this was something I pointed out in my first, is that they're trading at negative enterprise value. Now, yeah, they're going to burn through that cash, but one of my family members is not having a good day. I'll come back to this, I promise. I'm doing an updated, like I said, again, I have to do my whole write-up all over again. Yeah, so that's what we're looking for. So we're good for, essentially another year and a half here, right? They'll raise it before then, but if this thing grinds down, and we can accumulate, that gives us a year and a half for at least one catalyst to give us a strong enough spike to pop up, right? I'm sorry I'm blasting through this. I'm looking for their timelines, which I hope is in this. Lots of data, guys. Well, they don't really have much. Maybe that's why we're going to hold off. So they're kind of coming into a dead period, I guess. Man. So I think the next thing is to look for a partnership, some other update. We might have a major. These guys might be the one. I noticed this in other. When CAR-T was coming, just coming into online, which was sometimes when, like, in general, if there was some positive updates from a CAR-T program, all the CAR-T would kind of get a little bit of a bump, and obviously the one that was reporting it, the company would get a better bump in their ticker and, you know, acceleration, momentum, and all that stuff. But on the other side of it, when there was bad news, or, you know, didn't look like it was going to be, you know, work in every single type of cancer, or there was some safety issues, man, did the market destroy everybody that was involved in CAR-T. They did that with the PARP inhibitors too. You do it with everything, but it's just anything that's a new drug, new therapy, new industry in healthcare where there could be some concerns if it's going to actually work or it's going to actually be safe. They'll help the other ones out, but man, when it's bad news, they kill it. So anything right now, if anybody's any of the leaders, so like Sarepta doesn't do so well, these guys are probably not going to get a good bump right now, unless there's enough bad news, and then all of a sudden, whatever caused that bad news, these guys show that they're standing out and they're not that problem. Look out, right? That's where they can probably get a huge bump down the road. That's what we're going to be looking for. Maybe they alleviate the issues and apprehensions that the other gene editing and CAR-T companies are having with right now. And I think that's the big thing about them, is that their CAR-T is, yeah, it's going to be a single dose. They really believe that this is going to be one shot, really works. They have good data. Like, so far, I mean, now, I'll say this. The big thing about hematological, like, you usually get a decent response, and you also get a lot of complete responses, but, you know, there's a lot of, I mean, even with some of the stuff we have right now, you could still get a lot of good numbers on ORR and CRs, but they come back. So it really comes down to, like, okay, it responded to the therapy, but for how long? And can we do that same therapy again and again and again, and you still getting the same results? If you can, then that's fine. Not great for the patient per se, but, like, you know, better than, you know, it not working at all. Good numbers. All right, I'm going to end it there. It's going to be a really late upload. I apologize. Maybe I'll upload it in a lower resolution so it gets up quicker. Sorry for all the noise. Thanks for watching. I will have the watch list up in just a moment. Probably sticking to healthy dividends, but I'll poke around, keep looking at charts. If I find anything useful, I'll post it. All right, guys. Good luck. Stay healthy.